All right, here we go. All right, I think we
Dude,
are
you didn't make
live.
it very long, man.
We've been rapping about coffee. I have Steve Goodgame from the ARRL K5ATA. We've been rapping about coffee and just the shenanigans that are going on in the ARRL about the coffee pots.
Coffee pot, singular. I'm the only one with the good pot.
Yeah, yeah. All of the coffee that gets consumed at the ARL. And, you know, it is what it is. People tell me that I've got a ton of Sundrop stashed away. And I'm telling you, hey, you think I got a problem? You should go see Steve up at the ARL. He's got.
Smurfly, you should.
So, anyway, Steve, thanks for being here. I saw, well, if you go to Steve's Instagram and
Just don't
maybe
tell my
his,
mom about how much coffee is on there.
we were having a discussion about how we're lying to our moms about what our addictions are.
Thanks, Kyle. Mom's gonna find this and be like, "Steven, you're lying to me about your coffee intake."
Uh, she doesn't know about my channel. It's all right. So, I've been watching Steve's Instagram and all the cool things that he's been doing with the Teachers Institute. And I'm like, you know what? I got a ton of questions. So I think it's cool that what Steve is doing. And we're going to go invite Steve to the channel and grill him on all the cool things that he's doing for the ARL and the Teachers Institute. And we'll probably make some jokes about coffee and Sundrop in here too.
Probably one or two.
Yeah. So, anyway, Sterling says I have AeroPress to avoid the coffee pot drama, the office coffee pot drama, but I think they need to make a jumbo version before that comes suitable for Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I could do that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how those things work. How long does it take to make a cup of coffee in that thing?
Yeah. Steve can't deal. He can't deal.
It's like if I'm constantly having to get up to make more coffee, then I'm not getting any work done. I need quantity.
We were talking about what's the 3 o'clock pot?
Yep, 3 o'clock pot. That's a ritual.
So now all of the coffee pots are going to have names. They should all have names during the day.
So, well, I mean, some of them are just kind of a rush deal. So they're not,
Is there ever an emergency pot that needs to be made?
Absolutely. And there are times I have to pace my pots around meetings and stuff like, because you got a 10 o'clock meeting and sometimes that meeting goes an hour and a half. I don't know about you, but at 51 years old, that's a long time to hold a pot of coffee. So I kind of have to pace accordingly. But yeah, I mean, coffee makes my world go around at the office.
So all right, so you get into the office, you look at your day, you see how many meetings you got, and then you time the coffee pots between
around meeting. Well, depending.
Meetings.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like a quick little 30-minute meeting, that's nothing. I'll just make sure I have a big cup to go with me.
Right.
Or, nowadays some of them are Zoom anyway. So
have you ever declined a meeting because you've been short on coffee?
No.
Have you ever decided, you know what, that meeting that's an hour and a half, we're going to make it an hour because I need coffee?
I don't think so. It's possible.
Okay.
I mean, maybe subconsciously, but not consciously now. Usually the long meetings it's in person and there's a big group of people. So yeah, it's not like I can just say not coming. I'm out of coffee.
You've snuck out of meetings to make coffee though.
No.
Oh,
no. I travel with enough coffee to make for the meeting.
Oh, okay. So
it's all about preparedness,
right? You're doing your
it's my EDC coffee.
Your Aries obligation.
There you go.
Being prepared.
So, it's like tech prepper. He's got his preparedness thing going. I'm right there with him. He's a coffee guy too.
Yeah, he is.
So,
all right. I could go on and on about the questions, but we're here to talk about the Teachers Institute. And I saw in the ARRL letter, there was a big write-up on the Teachers Institute on all the cool things that you're doing. So tell me, because I don't know anything about it, is the Teachers Institute something that was happening at the ARRL before you joined, or is this your brainchild?
No, so it was here. It's been here for, I don't know, 20-ish years or something.
Okay, gotcha.
When I came on staff, it hadn't really changed or evolved in, well, I don't know, significantly, probably for the bulk of that time. It had kind of pretty much done the same thing, which was a good institute, but
yeah,
everything's got to change at some point. And so,
right. You got to evolve, right?
So, yep. So I spent the first year when I say the first year, I spent the first summer kind of watching the way it ran, the way it was designed. Yeah. Like I said, it was a good program, but some of it was just way too deep in the weeds for like teachers who had never really gotten into radio. I mean, day one of the Teachers Institute was USB oscilloscopes and waveforms. And, I guess the defining moment was we had a group of teachers up and, I sent them all a feedback survey, like, hey, tell me what you think. And one of the pieces of feedback was, I went back to the hotel. I called my daddy crying and said, I'm coming home. This is too hard.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that is not the reaction we're after. So,
right.
We had, for the first time, we had a fall Teachers Institute that we kind of, a lot of people in the South, they can't make July Teachers Institute. School starts in like 3 days down south.
Oh, there's like rotating schedules down in the South?
Yeah. So, teachers are in their classrooms right now down south. And I'm like, so those folks could never make July TIs. So I put one in June. I added one in June. And then I added one in October.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And so the October one, we kind of experimented with some of the changes I was thinking about making. They went over well. And then this year is the first year that it's, I guess, my brainchild. And I kept some of the other stuff, like we still do the basic electronics kits and stuff like that, but I kind of revamped the rest of it.
Gotcha. And you're a former teacher, so you got it. You understood, like, the caliber of what you needed to teach and what you needed to get in for. It's a week long, right?
Yep, it's a week long.
And so how many teachers do you have come up to headquarters there? And it's at headquarters, right?
Yeah, so all of them are at headquarters except one in Dayton.
There's one in Dayton. Oh.
Yep, there's one in Dayton, and we're actively looking to expand out from there. I came on and there were 2 Teachers Institutes of TI1, and those would usually get 10-ish people, and then we had one session of TI2, which those would get 7 or 8 people. Now we've got 4 TI1s, and next year I'll have to have at least 2 TI2s. So I probably bring 75 to 80 teachers up a year right now.
Yeah, cool. And so the teachers come up and one, how do they learn about the Teachers Institute, and how do they sign up? I'm assuming there's something on the ARRL website that you can sign up and.
Yep, there's a thing on the website, but the biggest problem, I guess, that we had when I first got there was, like I said, they had trouble filling all of they couldn't have added a whole bunch more because the advertising for this was done at Hamfests. That was their main outreach.
Right.
And it's like, we're fishing in the wrong pond, guys. We have to go where the teachers are.
Yeah, you got to go to like teacher conferences,
yep.
Right?
So, I got there and I was like, we need to be at these things. And I'm fortunate in that David and Diane, the CFO, she's my money lady, kind of saw the vision I had, and they're like, you're absolutely right. We need to go find these teachers. So I spent way more time in airports and on airplanes in the last year or so.
Yeah, every time that I saw you on Instagram, or I follow you on Instagram. If you're not following Steve on Instagram, go reach out. What's your Instagram?
I don't know. I think it's just my call sign.
Yeah, search for K5ATA, or
just search for coffee. I'll probably be the top hit.
If you, go rewind the stream if you had seen our 10-minute dissertation on coffee.
Yeah.
But anyway, every time that I saw a picture of you, you were in an airport with a cup of coffee, or you had a picture of some conference that you were at that had the word teachers in it.
Yep.
Or education.
So I went to a ton of these things, and some are better than others. We do. I'd gone to these things for years as a teacher, presented at these things as a teacher, but exhibiting is a whole different world. So some of them that I thought would be good places to get people didn't turn out as good as I thought, and then others were just, utterly surprising.
Yeah.
To keep costs down, we partnered up with ARRL on a lot of these things. That's another thing. I don't see the logic of a whole bunch of us doing the same thing separately. And so, ARRL has an education program where they're kind of, I was talking to them today, they kind of have what I guess I would call like an introduction to this stuff. And then, we're kind of like get the deep into the weeds stuff. And we're actually building a TI3 right now. All right. It's kind of my brainchild at the moment, but as soon as this week's over and these TI folks are gone, I'll flesh it out. But, we're going to partner with ARRL hopefully on that. And then some of the other space groups like Limitless Space and stuff like that.
Yeah. Don with the $10 super chat. Thanks for having Steve on. It's good to see him again. You know what I'm going to do? Every super chat I get in the stream is going 100% to the ARRL to fund things that Steve is doing. So if you want to donate to the stream, I'm going to get 100% of what I get from the super chats to the ARRL. So
that is awesome.
Bring them on. Bring them on.
The one I guess downside of what I do is it can get expensive.
Right.
So.
Yep. I understand. I totally get it. So teachers sign up, right? You go and you recruit teachers, right? And people of education stature, right? And you tell them all about what's going on in ham radio. And do you get what are the typical responses you get at your booth whenever you go to an event? Are they like, I don't know anything about ham radio, and then you reel them in, and what's your 30-second elevator speech to get them?
So here's the first thing that they say is they walk up, and I kind of have my display is, and by the way, it's good to steal your lunch money, Joe Brett. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Joe Brett.
It's been a while since I got to steal Joe Brett's lunch money, but I'll be down your way in a couple weeks. So
you can steal some more.
I can come steal some more. More importantly, I can get some catfish and coffee while I'm there. So, but they come up and most people are like, "Oh, amateur radio, isn't that ham radio thing? Is it? I didn't know it was still a thing." And I'm like, "Absolutely, it's still a thing." My display on my booth, I have a couple big monitors. I have a Geochron there. Izzo, thank you, brother. But one of them has a Geochron where I can show them propagation and other things that teachers like to nerd out. And, Patrick over at Geochron was very helpful in getting me that.
Yep.
And then the other one, I actually remote into the Flex that's at W1HQ.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is sometimes you get people like, "Oh, that would be cool to, talk to so-and-so." And I can, I have the Maestro there as well. So we can just pick the microphone up. I've got full control of, the antenna towers and everything on Green Heron.
Right.
And so, I had like a 10-year-old kid talk to Slovenia at a teacher conference.
That's cool. Yeah.
And it's like, my target's the teachers, but sometimes the kids struggle through. So,
right.
I get to demonstrate that it's a real thing. And then, my biggest thing is, well, you've been at the HQ, right? Have you been up there?
I am coming in September for the first time to HQ.
So in September, you're going to have to film this. So it's this hallway, and anybody who's been there has probably seen it for a tour. I call it, they've got an official name. It's in the lab. I don't know what the official name is, but I call it my time tunnel. And
I've
it's
seen
where
pictures.
it's where all of the really old radios are, and they've
Yeah.
got, I mean, they're cool and it smells old, and they've got these little like spotlights and stuff like that. So it's got this mood lighting to it. It looks like
Does it smell
night.
like curmudgeon?
So sometimes, so there are some machines that look like torture devices in there, but anyway, so I stopped people in there, and I'm like, everybody oohs and ahs over this stuff because they're like, oh, this is so cool, and it
Yeah.
is. It's cool, but it's old. And
Yeah.
I tell them, I said, this is unfortunately the second you go up to a building principal or a superintendent or a school board member and say, I want to do ham radio,
This is what they think of.
this is what they see.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like people like, oh. And then right around the corner from that, we have W1HQ. And if you've not seen W1HQ, Jerica last year did a video on W1HQ, and it's on the ARRL's YouTube channel.
It's good.
So, yeah, you can pull that up. But W1HQ is, I mean, it's amazing. So you walk around the corner, and the audible gasp that comes out of these teachers when they see the difference, I'm like, but this is what we need them to see.
Right.
Because principals aren't interested in 100-year-old technology. They want something in the future. So I use the term wireless technology instead of ham radio. And I kind of like, to me, amateur radio is that perfect base level of a scaffold to build off of. And I know you have some super chats to thank people for, and so do I. So thank you for your lunch money, everybody, while I pour more coffee.
So let's go down the so 100% of the super chats tonight are going to go to Steve's Teachers Institute to help him buy supplies and whatever he needs to buy, right? I don't even know what he needs to buy, but he needs to buy stuff. So we got.
So actually, if I could make a request on where that went or goes.
Yeah.
So, we have the way that my funding works. There are all kinds of funny rules about it. So I pay for Teachers Institute through our education fund.
Okay.
And that's what pays for teachers to come up. But where things truly get, I guess, expensive, or I don't feel comfortable pulling like travel money to go to teacher conferences out of that fund.
Okay.
And while I could probably technically justify it, people didn't give money to that fund for me to go travel to a teacher conference. They gave it for somebody to come to teacher training. So, put it in somewhere that's like Diamond Club or somewhere that's unrestricted, because that's where I pull that travel money from.
Okay.
So,
right.
That's.
I will get together after this, and you'll tell me where to donate this so you can get the most benefit for your buck.
So, because I've got 4 or 5 of these conferences I need to head to get these. And they're great conferences, but like I said, some of these things it's a racket. I need to start a conference.
Yeah. So Smoke Signals RF, Izzo, thank you for the $9.99. Shooter Ready Standby, $10. Thank you. Ham Tectonics, thank you, Bill. $4.99. Evan Thorson, K2EJT, $10. Thank you. Mike into MAK, thank you, Mike, $10. Roger with the $20 super chat. Roger McKeon. How do you Roger MCKEON?
I'm guessing McKeon.
Digital Rancher. And Grayman, make sure you get a receipt. I'm going to donate this, and I'm going to put everyone's name that donated as part of the donation, and make sure that everyone that donates tonight gets recognized. But 100% tonight goes to somewhere in the ARRL, so Steve can do whatever he needs to do with it. So Don has a question. Has Steve talked to the teachers at his old school, or has he been back to his old school?
So yes, I guess last August, maybe September, I don't remember. I did go down there because child unit was moving her into the dorm and whatnot. And, she stayed there for college. She got her full ride. So it's like, yes, you're staying there. And so when I went down there, I contacted the counselor of my old school, and she was nice enough. She rounded up all of my Padawans for me. And so I went in, and I got talked to all of them, but more importantly, I made sure to explain to them that, like the scholarship opportunities,
Yeah.
last summer, I don't know what the number is for this summer, but last summer we gave away about $1 million.
Yeah.
And, that's the stuff that these kids need to be reminded of. It's like, look, stay active doing something with radio, because that's how you get these scholarships.
Yeah. In QST, I don't know what month it is, but they list all of the scholarships, and it just goes on for pages and pages and pages. And you're just like, oh my, look at all of this money. It's free money, people. Scholarships to go to college,
So, and those are through the foundation, and ARDC supplements that they give a chunk for that every time. So thankful for that. But they do a good job of kind of vetting it out. I mean, it's basically especially for those big money scholarships, they kind of just have a Zoom call with the kid and say, they have obviously some other criteria on the application form, but they, like with Jerica, she got one, and they asked her, what do you like about ham radio?
Yeah.
And she rambled on for I don't know how long about POTA and how she likes to beat me down when we go there. And, they're like, oh, okay. So basically you have to be able to talk like you're actually passionate and interested in it and doing something with it.
Yeah. Yeah. One, you can't force a kid to get his or her license, right? I mean, they have to do it, willfully, but then also, get them involved, and then also, have them apply for a scholarship. And I'm sure that they probably get one. And, if they've done anything in ham radio, even if they've, they talk on their hotspot, their DMR hotspot to, a bunch of countries in the world. That's getting on the radio. And, it's, so we got some more here. Ron, W4, ORH. I can barely see Ron. It looks like a Q, but it's ORH, W4ORH. $20. He's going to turn the aircraft engine off and glide the last 4 miles. We got Wild Cascadia Radio. Thank you, Anime. $10 super chat. Liberty Cave, WS7 PB. $20 super chat. And Maurice Austin. Here, come to Montana and do a demo. N7 NHS. Maurice with a $10 super chat. So again, all the super chats tonight are going to the ARRL to help Steve in his Teachers Institute. So keep them coming, people.
Thank y'all for that.
Yeah. So the Teachers Institute 2 and 3, I'm assuming you have to go through Teachers Institute 1 to come back for 2 and 3?
Yeah. So 3 hasn't launched yet. Like I said, that's still kind of a brainchild. In fact, I kind of sort of got the official thumbs up today to do that. So, it's one of those. Teachers Institute 1 is I guess an introduction to a lot of parts. It's, stuff that I wanted it to be something that a teacher can show up. They get the training and the equipment that they can go back to their school and the very next day do something radio related with kids.
Yeah, you had a bunch of pictures of, so the Teachers Institute 1 has been going on for the last, there's a bug in here, the last couple of weeks, right? And you've been, or has that been Teachers Institute 2?
No, so this week is Teachers Institute 2. All the other ones that you've seen pictures of, and I've got some pictures that I can share with you. So
let's see. I need to let you.
You need to let me share. Come on, Kyle. Don't fail kindergarten.
I need to. You guys see how the sausage is made? There you go. Try it now.
There we go. Let's go.
This is how Zoom is made. Is controlled, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. I don't know. Oh
my gosh! Look at all this stuff. Can I come up there?
Absolutely, if you're teaching school. So,
wow.
So this table, what this is the setup for Teachers Institute 1. This one I crammed 13 people into this room. So it got a little bit tight, but it's
wow.
I try to get as many as I can get in there. So they've got, a Yaesu FT70, and Yaesu was very kind and gave us a heck of a deal on those to make it as cost effective as possible. Then you'll notice that Baofeng box that's familiar.
Yeah.
And that was very intentional, and a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you're giving them a Baofeng. But the reality is that is the exact radio most of these kids are going to buy.
Yeah. So why not give it to the teachers so they learn how to program them and
they
learn
know how to use it.
Right.
The kids are already used to using it. It takes the learning curve away. So, that's the reasoning there.
Yeah.
Obviously a couple stickers because stickers are cool. Let's see, they've got can you see my cursor if I do it over here?
Yeah, I see the ARRL antenna.
Okay, so yeah, they've got the ARRL antenna. And again, I'll go ahead and give a shout out to ARRL Antenna that he gave us a heck of a deal on this. So, it's I probably saved, I don't know, $10,000-$15,000 just by asking these people to help us out.
Right.
And I look at it as every dollar I get as a discount is a portion of another teacher I can train.
Right.
So, we got the ARRL antennas. We've got the high dollar Harbor Freight multimeter there.
Right.
We've got the Elegoo Arduino kit, and that's that whole little super starter kit. It's the one that's so packed. Once you open it, it's never going to all go back in the box.
Right. Right. Yep.
The electronics kit under there, a couple kits to build, bunch of cables and stuff to go with that stuff. That I think is called KC90N. He builds a little attenuator for fox hunting.
Oh, yep. You need that.
So he hooked us up and gave us a deal on those attenuator kits. So shout out to him as well. And then somewhere there is the Bionics Fox.
The transmitter.
Yeah, everybody gets a Fox.
Yeah.
Because if you want to engage kids pretty much right away, stick them in. Wow, T-Ray, thank you, brother.
Oh, look at T-Ray. Hang on. T-Ray with the $100 super chat. Thank you, T-Ray. That's going straight to Steve. Very cool.
So, my thing is when a teacher gets back to school, I want them to be able to go do something right then. They program these things while they're here, and that it's ready to go. So they can go hide that in a field somewhere. Kids can go hunt it. We teach them how to build a tape measure Yagi while they're here.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, that is the TI1 setup. And then they also get a complete book set out of our library. So all the basic radio, all that stuff.
Yep. Cool.
And the handbook.
So no CW in Teachers Institute 1 or anything?
No, not right now. Now, partly because honestly, just cramming all of this into 5 days is ridiculous. I mean, it's, the instructor right now for TI2, he's if he didn't have a haircut like me, he would be pulling his hair out because I try to get as much in there as I can. And then, so
yeah,
it's busy. So trying to teach people CW would probably not go well.
Yeah.
So,
well, I was just thinking like maybe, like a kit or an oscillator, to be like, hey, this is what CW sounds like,
So
yeah, cool.
And then see if I can. So that's the TI2 kit that they get. You'll notice some duplication in some things. That's because I have to play catch up for a year. It's because I changed TI1 and started giving them these radios. TI2 needs the same radios they do a lot of APRS remote sensor stuff and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't have the radios. So this year I had to play catch up and add that stuff in there.
Gotcha.
SDR play, they get an RSP1. And then DigiRig, and shout out to Josh and the DigiRig folks. They donated 10 of these things with the cable sets for us for TI2. So
nice.
Appreciate that. And then they get the batteries and stuff. And that's the one where they're really nerding out with APRS. In fact, you could, if you're sitting at home in front of a computer or whatever, you can go to APRS-Fi and look for, I think they're using Kilo Bravo 4 Delta Sierra Foxtrot. And they've got a little buoy out in water right now. Don't know if it's still transmitting because we had a heck of a storm a little while ago. It might have blown it into the water. It might be fried, but that's okay. But they're learning APRS stuff with that.
Yeah. Rob says, "What's the legato gear?"
Help me out.
I don't know. Rob, help us out. Give us some more info here. I don't see any. Like, I'm not familiar with that term or that company, and I don't see anything. Maybe he's seeing something we're not seeing. I don't know.
Oh, maybe he's talking about the Elegoo. That's the Arduino kit.
Elegoo. Oh.
Yeah, that's the Arduino starter kit. So that's what that is.
Jamie B with the super chat. He asks, "What age do you feel is best for entry to getting kids into ham radio and basic electronics?"
So that's going to depend on each individual kid. From my viewpoint, my sweet spot for teachers are teachers who teach either middle school or early-ish high school. Because usually by 7th and 8th grade, they've got enough of the math. They can get some of it. Definitely by 9th and 10th grade, they've got it.
Yeah.
And it's also early enough that they can find what part of amateur radio they're going to be interested in. They have enough time to kind of experiment with different modes and decide which one they like, maybe not. And, kind of get vested in it.
Yep. Did we answer Rob's question? That's the Arduino kit, right?
Yeah, that's the Arduino kit.
Yep.
And I've got a picture of that out of the box here coming up. So
gotcha.
Or at least some parts of it.
Thanks, Jamie, for the super chat. Appreciate it.
And so this
reminds me of a band, a marching band. Everyone.
Yeah, well, this is actually the hotel. So the hotel here, they've gotten quite used to our teachers acting like fools in the parking lot. And so, every time they learn it, they learn about satellites on day-ish 2, usually, depending on timing. So after that, they pretty much have every satellite pass figured out. And wherever they are, they run outside and try to work that satellite.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty cool. The parking lot, they've just gotten used to it. So, but that's kind of cool. They were working. I don't remember which bird that was, but.
So do they actually try and contact, or do they just kind of listen?
Oh no, they actually try and make contacts on it. So,
cool.
The first one, they usually just listen. But they've got that's the other reason for them getting 2 radios instead of just one, is that way they've got they can do that and hear themselves.
Right.
But yeah, they try to make contacts. In fact, like today, we had people working the ISS repeater and got some cues.
That's cool. Yeah.
So that's kind of that's another real draw for kids. Space is the last cool place to go.
Right.
And so that's always cool for them.
Right.
That's just one of the teachers that came and she's sitting there nerding out about, I think they're downloading. I think maybe they were doing APRS. I don't know what they were doing.
Well, you can tell whatever she's doing, she's enjoying it.
She's
nerding out.
It.
Yeah.
And, that picture is also there because that's a first-year teacher. She just finished her first year.
Oh, wow.
And
she looks pretty young.
Yeah, that's part of my focus here is to try to get newer, younger folks into that. I mean, it's easy to draw old people like me, into it. So, but getting the younger folks to realize that this is a technology that's just growing with time and it's modern. It's not ancient.
Right. Now, okay, this is going to be a dumb question, but I think it's valid. Do you have to have your ham radio license to come up and go to the Teachers Institute, or how does that work?
No. So the way that works is applications come in. Yep. I accept the people. Once they confirm they're coming, I send them all of the study materials that they need for whatever their next license is. If they're not licensed, they get the technician stuff. If they are, they get whatever their next test is.
Gotcha. Okay.
I send that to them, And they understand it's on the application that while you don't have to be licensed to come for TI1, in order to leave with anything that transmits, you have to have a license.
Yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
when they come up, we give them a test on day one. Anybody who's feeling comfy and ready to test, we test them right there at headquarters.
Yep.
On day one. And this year, most of them have passed on that first test.
That's awesome.
And then we give them another opportunity at the end of the week as well. It's like, I've actually had people that came and tested for technician on Monday and general on Friday.
That's yeah.
And
that's
it's
awesome.
like, boom. Because, they get a taste of HF and they're like, I want that. And it's like, you happen to have plenty of study time because, you're in a hotel.
Yeah. Awesome. So, very cool.
So this is, I guess, the 2 weeks ago group of people. And we're fortunate. This one, we actually have 2 teachers from Connecticut in this one. The significance of the flag is there is a gentleman, and I don't have his name with me, but there's a gentleman in California. And that flag has been flown in all 50 states and American Samoa. And he's a ham. And so he asked the person that came up to headquarters for this if she would find out if we could fly it on our mast in front of headquarters.
Uh-huh.
And so we flew it on the mast and took pictures for him. And so that's, it's, I mean, he's a ham. It's cool. That's a cool thing. I'd want my flag flown there.
Yeah, it's cool.
So,
nice.
It's kind of cool. So that's, we take a group picture with everyone. And so that's the group picture for this is, with that flag. So
how many, you told me before, how many rotations of TI1 have you had so far?
So far, I've had 3 rotations of TI1.
Okay.
And I have 1 more in October.
And then you have a rotation of TI2 right now?
Yeah, TI2 is there right now.
Gotcha.
So, which is part of why I'm even more tired.
Well, we're keeping.
This is way past my bedtime, folks. I mean, I'm like 8:15. I'm in bed because I'm up at 4.
He IM'd me about an hour ago and said, "I got to put another pot of coffee on the." He's being caffeinated right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. If I have caffeine after 3 p.m., I'm just like at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm just like, what's going on? I can't go to bed. What's happening?
No, like I said, I've got 4. Well, I'm down to 3.5 caffeinated beverages here. No, 2.5. And I'll walk right into the bedroom, lay down, and I will be asleep within 5 minutes.
Boom, man, so, that is discipline. You got more discipline than I do.
So, this is that group of teachers. Like I said, we got 13 of them in this room, and over, I think it was 9 and 4. I think there were 9 females, 4 guys in this one.
Wow.
There was a great group, I mean, just so not that any groups aren't great groups, but this group, they just gelled, how some groups just kind of.
Right. So as you're going through the week, you're teaching them, things about the radios and the aero antennas and how to do stuff. And then I'm assuming you're also throwing in there how to teach this stuff and what things you can do in your classroom and activities you can get the kids involved in that involve ham radio, right?
Yep. And we're asking them to do the same thing. So, another element that I added was we're creating lesson plans for teachers. Because, I did this. I don't care what anybody tells you. Teaching is it's hard. And
it is.
Trying to find, all right, let me rephrase it. Teaching well is hard. So,
yes.
If you try to find lesson plans and stuff to do this stuff, a lot of times these folks that have not done it a lot, that just complicates it more.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create these lesson plans, and they're posted on the Learning Center. So anybody can get to them. Or if they want to teach about resistors or something, they can download it, hit it, and they can put it in their lesson plan. So their principal's like, oh, okay, you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it gives them a starting point where they can run with it. But the other thing is, as they go through this course, they know that I'm going to ask them to write a lesson plan. And we're going to add it to that repository. So, it's just the idea here is it's going to be a growing repository of plans that
open
people
source
can,
lesson plans.
Yep. That way, everybody can choose from them. It's in front of any membership wall. So, this is purely to get more teachers doing this in their classroom.
Yep.
So,
yep. I remember whenever I had a couple of roommates right out of college, one was a teacher, and she would literally, I'd roll into the living room, and she was a first-year teacher, and she would be in there at 10 o'clock doing lesson plans. And I'm like, Stacy, you're not getting paid to do this. She's like, nope. She spent so much money and so much time outside of her classroom doing stuff.
Yep.
And poor girl didn't like, teachers get paid like crap. And she was still up, 2 or 3 nights a week for a couple of hours just doing stuff outside of work. And then she'd come home from Walmart and she'd have like a big, huge bag of supplies that she was given to kids because the kids couldn't afford supplies. It's just horrible.
So welcome to education in America.
Yeah. So, it's just so bad.
But, so like I said, that group, that's the group that we had 13. We do it in the main conference room there at headquarters. So it gets a little tight. I would love to be able to fit 15 or 16 at a time. Just that's not happening in that room. You can see they're comfy.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is that same group, but
there's Minster.
The instructor changed. So, he actually walked in because he likes to just kind of come in and meet these folks. And so he walks in and he meets them. And then all of a sudden, it was in the middle of a discussion about antennas and, building antennas and this and the other. And somebody said, well, I forget the exact question, but it was, how do I figure out how much to cut or something like that if it's not resonant? And so he happened to be standing there and he kind of made this little good question kind of thing. And
may I answer it?
and so the instructor kind of looked at him. Wayne is my guy teaching this one. And Wayne looks over, he goes, kind of gestures like, and he goes, yeah, I will. And I kid you not, dude got up off the cuff and taught a probably 20 minute lesson on just, the math was, he was just like, boom. He's like, and to his credit, he did a phenomenal job teaching it too. I was like, wow, dude.
Mister's a smart cookie.
He had it all down. He's like, yeah. And, answered questions. I was like, dude, you should have done that for a living. So I guess he kind of does.
Some people have it and some people don't, right?
Yeah. So it is kind of cool to have, a CEO that actually can radio and do that stuff. So.
Yeah. And understands what's going on. Yeah. He's just not, I'm management and you are workers. He is management and a worker bee and does radio.
Yep. He's usually one of the last folks to leave that building every day. So,
yeah.
So this is that same group. They're out doing, we were downloading weather images from NOAA satellite.
Nice.
We actually, a state senator came by to visit and check it out. And that's who that lady is.
Oh.
So, that's kind of one of my other things is I'm trying to get into some of these state education agencies. And so hopefully it's going to work out where I go and kind of, she took all the information. We're going to hopefully talk to the state of Connecticut Education Committee about how this relates to STEM and the need for, wireless technology. Because she came in, she's like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's a teacher thing. But once you explain that, you really can't do anything without radio.
Yeah.
You can't go to space without radio. You can't even have a glucose monitor on your arm without radio.
Right.
They're doing Bluetoothable pacemakers. You better hope that guy knew radio, right? Otherwise somebody's having a bad day.
Right.
She kind of took that and she's like, whoa, And
You wouldn't believe how many radio things we have in the hospital to keep people alive.
yeah,
Yep. It's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere.
So, it's people just kind of take it for granted, and they're like, "Oh, what do you mean? My phone always has a signal." That's radio.
Yeah.
So there's that Arduino kit out of the box. You can see what I mean by it'll never fit back in that box again.
Yeah.
So that's a group of, that's actually the TI2 group.
Look at it's like a porcupine.
Yeah. So that's the other thing is they're doing SDR stuff. The TI1 group got RTL SDRs, which they gave us a heck of a deal. TI2 got RS SDR plays because what they're doing is a little different. It works better with it. So but that's just them doing their thing. This is yesterday. So anybody who follows satellite AMSAT stuff and ARRL stuff, yesterday we had a special kind of experiment that we did, and we sent the ARRL folks a custom image that they sent from Goddard to the space station, and we transmitted an SSTV, what they did, an SSTV image through the voice repeater for the Teachers Institute folks to receive an image just for them. And so this is that event.
Wow.
Everybody's cool. News people showed up, and they're all like, "Oh wow, this is cool," and whatnot.
Is that Jerica over there?
That's child unit. She's here for a whopping 2 weeks left now. Nice. I only got her for 3 weeks this year because she was doing some summer camp counseling stuff down in the SIP.
Gotcha. As you're rolling through here, Anime wants to know give me the name of the kit. I'm gonna link it up here.
The Arduino kit?
Yeah.
Elegoo, ELE. I can type it in there. I'm in the chat.
Elegoo.
So that's that kit, and I've used them forever in the classroom. It's one of the knockoff Arduinos, but I've never had a problem with any of them.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, there's a ton of them, like a Mega kit, an Uno kit.
This one's I think the Super Starter kit.
Starter kit. Okay.
The Mega kit comes with the bigger. I mean, this depends on how nerdy you want to get. They've got the keypads and stuff like that with some of them.
Yep. Gotcha. Okay.
That's them setting up the buoy today that I told you probably blew over in the storm and dropped the radio and everything into the water. So I think, well, the radio wouldn't have fallen in the water because it's clipped to the side, but I have a feeling the Arduino did.
So it was an actual buoy that was in the water.
So, well, it's like the guts of a buoy because the actual buoy itself, you take PVC pipe and pool noodles and you float it in a watertight box kind of thing.
Okay, gotcha.
But for the sake of space and not having to have yet another suitcase on an airplane, they can build their own buoy at the house. But this is all the guts for the temperature sensing and stuff like that.
Okay, gotcha.
They do, but.
And where did you launch this buoy?
Well, now this is just tested in an area outside of W1AW, where some of the towers are. I
thought you you threw it, you took it to the ocean and threw it in or something.
So now there are people that have. There's a guy actually from Mississippi that he got a grant several years ago to do exactly that with the buoy, and they deployed buoys. I don't know where he stuck them. I mean, he was in the middle of Mississippi, and so I guess whatever lakes or whatever are around, but.
It's a cow pond.
He didn't go into the ocean, so I guess he could have gone into the Gulf of Mexico and gotten it stuck in the tar.
Put it all in old Bessie's pond over there.
So,
well, very cool. So again, if you have any teachers in your life that want to, if you didn't know anything about the TI Teachers Institute, and this looks awesome, and you want to help promote the system or the event, how do they get more information? Do they type in
ARRL.org/TI for Teachers Institute? We'll take you right there.
Okay. ARRL.org/TI.
Yep, and that'll bring up the main page as a little 3 or 4 line request info form, like
Right.
on that page. That's actually the form that I use at conferences. I just have a QR code because I don't know if you've ever exhibited at these conferences, but just to buy the little data scanner thing is like, to rent it for a day and get the data is like $700. I'm like, heck no, I'll just make a QR code.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah,
Oh, geez.
it takes an extra step, but I'm like, I can take the step for $700.
Right.
So
Yeah. All right. Well, very good. So I don't know if Google takes their 20% or whatnot, but we're up to $270 here on.
sweet. Thank y'all.
Yeah. So we're doing the anything that is donated in the stream, and we've got a couple more minutes, is going to go to Steve and his Teachers Institute, and maybe we can get this up to $300. We got $70 more dollars. Or not, sorry, 70. 30. Don't do math on stream, boys and girls. We got 30 more bucks to get to $300, and I will throw in some dollars too. So, yeah, all this stuff is going to go to Steve, and we're going to figure out where to put it. But yeah, I mean, all of this stuff is awesome. I had a local teacher here, Thomas. What is Thomas's last name? I forgot Thomas's last name. He came up to the ARRL and did the Teachers Institute a couple years ago. It was before COVID, and he had a blast. He was just like, and he came back, and I saw him at a club meeting, and he was just all jazzed about the Teachers Institute, and he was going to do a bunch of stuff. And we actually went down to his classroom and put a 2-meter rig up and an HF rig, and then he moved schools, and then we had to move all of his stuff to the new location. So that was 3 weeks ago, and we put all of his stuff up in the classroom. So
That brings a good point. Is the material that we give teachers, it goes to the teacher, not the school. And
yeah.
Don, appreciate you,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Again,
$300. Thank you.
but it's so the expectation is that that's their equipment to use with students, not the schools. So if they change schools, I saw Anime wanted to know if they could send a teacher. That realistically, the teacher has to apply for it, just because it's a huge commitment to travel across the country and give up a week. That's the other thing is these teachers are giving up a week of their summer to come do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Jim Greer, I appreciate it, man. Jim supported the Padawans for a long time when I was funding everything through my YouTube channel. So much appreciated.
Very good. Thank you, Jim. Jason's got a question here. Steve, do you have a specific tax ID for this program that I
That
use
is a
for?
darn good question that I don't know the answer to. If you'll shoot me an email, just my call sign at ARRL.org, I will find out from the people in that office that the quick answer is yes, we have a tax ID. I just don't know what it is.
Very good.
It's probably on a piece of paper or something around here somewhere.
It's like our tax ID at work. Nobody knows it. And it's on one little piece of paper that's on somebody's computer screen right next to their password.
Yeah. The password that you're not supposed to give anybody.
Right.
So, but yeah,
the password to all the financial systems is right there on.
Yeah, and all the paychecks. You can give yourself a raise.
Right.
So,
well, very good. Thank you, Steve, for staying up and brewing another pot of coffee to be up. And I'm sure that you're probably going to go hit the hay. But I had a ton of questions, and I think you answered them all. I wanted to.
Great. Well, I'm good. I'm vertical still and caffeinated. So if anybody has any other questions, I'm game.
If you have any more questions, we got a couple more minutes here. About the Teachers Institute. Jody says that password you can change in grades like 1983 pencil. Yeah, or like War Games. Remember War Games where they
shall we play a game?
Yeah, where he dialed in that and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? Where he came, he went in and he changed his. But I remember War Games with Matt Broderick, yeah.
Yep.
Where he'd dial into the school's computer and change all of his stuff.
It's actually how my brother has 5 years of band credit in a 4-year high school. And
it actually worked.
He never took band at all.
That's awesome.
It's kind of like, wow, seriously.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's K9KJ. Is he back from Oshkosh?
Yeah,
From
I saw Ray Novak throw a little hate his way with his sticker.
where?
I think I remember. Was that you that left your sticker on his table? And Novak's like, hey, "This is why we can't have nice things."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
DJ left his sticker on
I swear
Novak's.
that's the call sign. I saw it on. I don't remember where. It's a Snapchat a tweet.
That's funny. Brent,
Uh,
Steve, thank you for so much. I have to exit 73. Brent, thanks for hanging around. Let's see who else. Yep. Thanks, T. Ray, for being here. Liberty K for being here. Don, SKC, all the people that donated. You know, I'm going back through the chat here. All the people that donated. It's awesome that we raised some money here for Steve. We got Don sent $10, so he sent $40 total. Joe Brett, Izzo, Shooter Ready Standby, Ham Radio Tectonics, Evan, Mike, Roger, Digital Rancher, Ron, Anime, Liberty Cave, Maurice, T-Ray with the $100 super chat, Jamie B for donating. Who else do we got in here? Don gave another super chat. Jim Greer with the $50 super chat. So anyway, all of this, we're going to figure out how we're going to get it to Steve. On my total here, it says $349. I don't know if that's before or after YouTube takes their
I think that's going to be before.
Cut. Yeah, slimy little cut.
Yeah,
so,
YouTube's got to scrape theirs off the top.
Yep. So, and I'm going to put some money in there, and we're going to send Steve some dough, and he's going to buy some stuff, do some traveling, do whatever he needs to. It's Steve's money to figure out what he's going to do to help promote ham radio with teachers and youth and all the cool things that he does. So
got to get the Utes.
The Utes.
The Utes.
Steve, are you going to be at Huntsville?
I will not be at Huntsville. We're taking
You will not be at Huntsville?
We're taking a small group. We're only taking 3 to Huntsville. So
who's coming to Huntsville?
David, Bob Inderbitson, and I think Yvette, our membership manager. So,
well, we will miss you at Huntsville.
Huntsville reached out to me way too late for me to book travel and stuff like that. They wanted me to do a forum there, and I was like, I got to know that kind of stuff way ahead.
Yeah.
So,
what's your next
ironically,
event?
I'll be close. I'll be in Mississippi helping Child Unit she's moving into a student apartment. So I might have time to swing left a little bit, but we'll see.
Okay, very good. Well, what's your next big event? Do you know?
Pacificon.
Pacificon.
So I'll be at Pacificon, and then I'm thinking Puerto Rico in January, and then
to get more coffee.
Yeah, come January. Yeah, I got Carlos, who by the way is an amazing dude for doing that youth jump at Dayton.
Yeah, that was cool.
Also makes a heck of a coffee that if I get to go there, I'm going to have to come hunt down the coffee plantation or whatever you call them. And
yeah, we found out at Dayton that Carlos back in Puerto Rico, his family owns this huge plantation, and apparently I don't drink coffee because it stunts my growth. But apparently it's good coffee, right? Yeah.
Oh, it's darn good coffee. So I was like, bruh. If I go there, I get that extra free bag with Delta anyway.
Yeah, free bag.
So, it's a whole suitcase just of coffee coming back.
Just of coffee, yeah, right. It's like Hayden whenever he came to Hamvention.
Yeah,
he went to Walmart. He went to Wally World, an Australian in Wally World, and he bought a suitcase and he put all of his crap in the suitcase, and that went back to Tasmania.
That's how you got to do it. So, but
and no creamer, right? No creamer.
No. If creamer goes in the coffee, it's crap coffee.
Yeah.
So fortunately it's rare. Usually Hamfest coffee, I have to put something in because it's usually so bad.
So if you see Steve out at the Hamfest and he's putting creamer in the coffee, you either know that it's a bad day or it's a bad coffee.
No, it's just bad coffee.
It's just bad coffee. Okay.
No, creamer doesn't, fix bad days. So
Does bad coffee? Now I'm on the coffee kick. Does bad coffee ever come into the ARRL? Like it has to have a
Not my
certain
office.
criteria.
not my
before
office. No,
Okay, before it comes into your office.
no, it's not allowable. I mean,
Will you ever allow somebody to bring you a cup of coffee that you don't know where it came from?
depends who it is. Like, Rick Roderick. Rick's like my brother in caffeine.
He can bring you a cup of coffee.
He can bring me a cup of coffee. In fact, we quite often do. Like at Hamfest and stuff. He or I, either one, will go and
get a cup of coffee
and pick up a cup of coffee for each other. So
and you trust him with the coffee.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's got great taste in coffee. He likes it thick and strong.
But there are people at the ARRL that you wouldn't even trust a cup of coffee with.
Absolutely not. There are people that drink like this vanilla crap and stuff. It's like, what is that? It's like, it's like there's these bags up in actually the HR lady's office right now, and it's like this Jim Beam flavored vanilla bourbon coffee or something. I was like, maybe
that's why it's in HR. It's like you go up there and you're just like, I don't even want to be up here. Let me have some of that coffee.
Yeah, it's like, negative, Ghost Rider. That pattern is full. So,
it's funny.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. So,
well, it's like me and Sundrop. I can appreciate your love of coffee because I have the same love for Sundrop, and I can. Whenever there's something like I can totally tell if you give me Sundrop, I can tell if it's been bottled in a can or if it's in a plastic plastic bottle, or if it's straight out of the tap. I can taste and figure out where it's come from and how it's bottled.
Yeah, and here's Anime saying a shot with steamed heavenly milk fat. No. See, I do 4 shots in the morning as soon as I wake up. And then I drink my pre-workout.
Wait, is the pre-workout coffee? Is it mixed with coffee?
Actually, sometimes it is. But it's this, I don't even know what it's called, but it's like the equivalent of like 2 cups of coffee. And
in 1 cup?
In 2 scoop or whatever. It's the little scoop size that you mix it. And I just mix it in just enough water to make it dissolve.
just enough water.
It's like, suck that down.
It's like a malt.
So you may never yuck my yum, but I will absolutely yuck your yum. Because milk should not be a part of coffee. It's just no. And then
okay, so then you do your workout, and then you get up, or then you go.
I go back upstairs.
Okay.
And while I'm getting ready for work, there's another pot of coffee brewing.
Okay.
I usually drink about half of that before I leave the house, and then the other half is the road trip in. Okay. I have an 11-mile commute, so that's about enough for half a pot of coffee.
It's 11-mile commute. Is it highway too?
No.
No. So there is some stops.
I have to go. They have this weird little hill here that they call a mountain, but it's like this little hill, and so I have to go over the little hill. Okay. But it takes me in the morning. It takes me like 19 minutes to get to work, so I can drink half a pot in 19 minutes.
Wow.
The afternoon's more like 40 minutes to get home, but
okay. So then you down that pot because you drank half at home and you drank half in the car, right?
Yep. I walk in, grind the beans for the 7 a.m. pot.
The 7 a.m. So, all right, hang on. The kettle is dry once you hit the doors of the ARRL.
Yes.
Okay. So you got to make a new pot, and you got to grind some beans. You got to make a new pot the second you get there.
Pretty much. I walk in, and I go in, I pick up the coffee thing and fill it with water and grind the beans, toss it in, and hit the go button. And
how long does it take you to, once you hit the door, you're sipping on the sweet nectar?
7 minutes. 7 minutes. So it's iffy. It just depends. So, because it's got the little auto stop thing when you take the cup off, the pot out. So
right,
as soon as you have enough in there for a cup of coffee, you can take it out.
Oh, you can take. Oh, yeah. You don't have to wait for it to get all the way up to the top, right?
Oh no, that would take 15 or 20 minutes. That's unacceptable.
Okay. Okay. So
So
then, so that's the 7 a.m. pot. So is there like, we talked about the 3 p.m. pot. Is there like how many pots of coffee are during the day? Is it 4, 3, 2?
usually two. Yeah, right. That's like 4-ish. If I stay late, 5. You know.
Late. Like, no, I'm talking about just before noon, before
Oh,
lunch.
before noon. Let's see. I've got the 7 o'clock. I've got usually the 9 o'clock. Sometimes there's a 10-ish, depending on my 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock gets really busy, and
D-
so
So,
sometimes I'm sucking it down real fast.
do you have your own coffee pot? Like, do
Oh
you have
yeah.
one in your office?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so does anybody get access to that coffee?
Very few people.
Eh, eh, I'm assuming they. What would happen if somebody came in, sat down in your office, and was just shooting the shit with you, and they went over and said, and they just started pouring the coffee? Would you be like, "Excuse me, what are you doing?"
Depends who it is. So
Depends on who it is. Okay.
most people won't do it because
They
my
know.
coffee's so thick. Well, I mean, it's so strong. Most people don't like it that way. So, there are a few people that I would let sit down and have a cup. Sometimes I might do it just to watch their reaction because it's not like I keep creamer in there or anything. I mean, that's like a communist thing. And so
Yeah, so they pour the cup and they're just like creamer, and you're just like,
I
get
just kind of
out,
laugh.
get out, get out.
It's like, no. And so, they to watch them take a sip of it, and usually their face kind of goes, it's like training a dog. They're done at that point. They're not going to try it again.
Have you ever tried to get somebody out of your office and you give them coffee, so therefore they have to get out to go get creamer?
No.
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 Okay. All right.
I wouldn't offer them coffee
Because
that's less for me.
Yeah, that's less for you. Okay. All right. Very good.
I mean,
Very good.
I offer, David gets coffee and Rick Roderick gets coffee and a couple other people, if they really want it, I can be their fix.
Right. Right.
But
But like if I came into your office, a non-coffee drinker, I came into your office and said, "Steve, can I have a cup of coffee?" You would be like, "No, what are you doing? Get out of here."
you're Kyle. I'd give you a cup.
Well, thank you,
But your random other person, absolutely not.
This is great. And then, do you have coffee with lunch, or is that like a water?
Well, I have both usually.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's because, I have to drink plenty of water because coffee kind of dehydrates you a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Right.
I probably drink a good gallon of water every day.
And then you have your 3 o'clock pot.
Yeah, but I'm kind of like hobbits with their breakfast. You have breakfast, second breakfast, 11sies, then lunch. It's kind of the same. It's kind of like, that's me with coffee. And then I usually make a pot after dinner when I'm home too. So
Whenever do you? All right. So whenever you go home at what time you go home?
5-ish.
3, 4, 5. Okay.
5-ish,
So
4:45, something like that.
okay. So 4 o'clock rolls around. You're winding down for the day. You're doing things that you need to do to get ready for tomorrow or whatnot. Do you brew a cup? Or do you brew a pot of coffee to take home with you on the ride home?
No. So the 3 o'clock pot sometimes can last that long. If not, I'll make a half pot.
Oh, okay.
But
Gotcha.
Because I'm not going to leave. Now, I used to feel gratuitous, and there was a guy that used to work there that he was kind of a coffee junkie. And so he didn't think I knew, but I knew. It's kind of like Gremlins. So like if I would leave at the end of the day, and if I accidentally left a little bit of coffee in the bottom of it, he would come in there and drink it. He would
he would come into your office after you left.
And I figured it out because I intentionally left coffee in there one day because I was like, what, in the morning this is going to be like. No, I actually left it because in the morning I figured I could just hit some cold coffee while I waited for the hot stuff, and I was like, where'd that coffee go? And I was like, huh. And so, I kind of started doing a little investigation.
You did it. Yeah, a little Columbo work.
Yeah. And so I figured it out. He's no longer employed with us.
Was that part of his termination?
No. He actually, he was like he was a in law school or something somewhere else, and so he's
Guys,
pursuing that. I mean, he's from Chile, I think.
yeah.
Great dude, but he was kind of my unspoken coffee buddy.
How have you ever threw out a pot or an end of a pot to make new? Like, has that ever like you've got a cup left and it's 2:45 and you're ready for your 3 o'clock pot? Do
No, I'll
you
just drink it.
you drink it? Okay, so there's no throwing away coffee.
I mean, not in every now and then, like I might accidentally have left a little bit in the pot over a weekend. I'll drink next day coffee, but I won't drink 3-day old sitting in a coffee pot coffee.
So
It kind of gets, I've tried it once. It's not good.
So day old bread is okay, day old coffee is okay, but 2-day old coffee is no go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, 2-day might be doable, but 3-day over a weekend now.
Okay.
Because, if it's a 4 o'clock pot or the 3 o'clock pot on Friday and I leave at 4, then that's Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. That's stretching it.
Is it still warm?
No.
Okay.
Because then it would just turn into that crust on the bottom, which I've had to scrape that once or twice. That's why always buy the pot with the auto off.
Oh, okay. Douglas says 3-day is penicillin.
That's actually more like if you leave it there for Christmas break, it can turn into that.
Oh, I mean, this is fascinating. I gotta go. I gotta go to bed. You gotta go to bed. I could ask questions all night, but it's because I'm fascinated by this.
Well, I mean, you asked earlier if I'd be willing to spreadsheet out and tally up my my intake, and
so for I don't know, maybe we just do this for a couple of weeks. That Steve puts together an Excel spreadsheet, and it's just detailed on how much, like the time that he has the coffee, and how many cups that he has, or how many pots he has during the day, and what times he has them during the day, and then he send me the data, and I'll graph it all out and do a histogram, and when do you get your first pot? What's the times? When do you have your last pot? When is your best pot time? We could do this whole statistics on.
And anybody who's ever gone to like Hamfest that I'm at, I mean, it's hilarious. People bring me coffee. Steve KO4AFL brought me an entire Dunkin' Midnight box at Orlando. And people were like, "Oh, you brought coffee?" I was like, "No, this isn't your coffee."
So we got some. So Jason says, just tweet for each cup. So this is what we need to do. I need to create a Node-RED flow and connect. So, all right, this is what we're going to do, Steve. This is what we're going to do. We're going to totally do this. So I'm going to figure out what type of coffee maker you have. And whenever I'm up at headquarters in September, I'm going to put a Raspberry Pi on your coffee pot that runs Node-RED, that keeps track of your coffee usage automatically. And then you can put a screen up in your office, and it will have live stats of your coffee intake at ARRL headquarters. How about that?
I'm not sure it's going to work, but okay. You can try. I mean, it's... you said you're coming up there when?
I will be up at headquarters the last week in September.
Okay, well, October's a good month. In fact, that'll be a high consumption month. I have a week of TI. So
there you go.
We're going to
get some good data.
Yeah, the weather starts to cool off a little bit, so you need a little bit more coffee.
Yeah. I will be up myself. I haven't announced this yet. I guess we're going to announce it on the stream. Why not? Who cares? It's not like it's a secret. I think September. I think it's. Oh my! Hang on. Calendar. I got to go to my calendar. I just can't just rattle these dates off because I'm an idiot and I'm not smart. September 22nd, I will be at ARRL headquarters. I'm gonna do a 9-state Podarove with Jason, Ham Radio 2.0, and we're flying up to Hartford, on the 19th, and we're flying back on the 23rd, and we're just going to roam around and do all the nine New England states. And I think we're going to post up in Hartford, but I think the 22nd is our ARRL day, so we're just going to come up there and hang out. So
sounds like a plan. So, yep, Izzo will open it up. We've got some good little POTA spots around here. A place called Satan's Kingdom.
Nice.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones we activated. I was hoping to work MRD on that, but didn't make it since this cat. I was like, man, I could work your cat's kingdom, but didn't happen.
Your cat's kingdom. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what we can do. We're gonna do stuff around the borders like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Do that. And then come over and do Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, do that, and then go up and do Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and then come back down. So,
and if you're from down south where things are big, you can get to like any state here in like an hour and a half. I mean, you can get all the way to Maine, I think, from where I live in under 2.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I have to travel 45 minutes for my closest park, right? And so going an hour and a half and doing a park is like nothing. And I'm like, I'm doing the POTA map and I'm taking a look and I'm mapping out on Google Maps. And I'm just like, I can get to Pennsylvania in like an hour and a half.
An hour and a half, you've crossed all the way through Massachusetts and you're in Vermont.
Right.
And it's like, because, Cindy and I have just kind of started just kind of turning left somewhere and just wander to see where we end up. And it's like, whoa, we're in Vermont. It's like, how'd this happen? So, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I've never been to many of those states. I've been to New York, New Jersey. And actually, my friend went to Yale, so we drove up from New York to Yale. I think Yale is in
New Haven.
Yeah.
It's the only place in the state I have found to get a good taco. Not at Yale, but in New Haven, they have the taco trucks there. And
oh, nice. We'll have to get a taco in New Haven.
Nothing else has any kind of seasoning on it. It's horrible.
Gotcha.
So bring your own hot sauce.
All right. We've said it all. We've talked about teachers. We've talked about coffee. We've talked about New England states. I don't think we've. There's nothing else to talk about. We've hit it all.
I'm out of coffee, so that's a good thing.
All right. Very good. Thanks everyone who gave a super chat. We raised $350. We're going to get that to Steve here in the next couple of days, and it's a good stream.
Yep, share that information with any teacher because that's the only way we get more teachers and more youths is to spread it like the gospel. Amen.
Yep.
Hallelujah.
Yep. Very good. All right. Thanks everyone. Thanks Steve for being on here. I appreciate it, buddy.
No problem, man. Take care.
Okay. See you guys later.
Bye, guys.